Okay, welcome. I'm really excited, Leanne, that you decided to join me on Pearls of Wisdom. What you don't know is we're just like jumping into the recording, but there's actual like an intro that comes in. So it talks about what the podcast is about. So it's not so awkward, but you and I are just kind of jumping into it. So it feels a little awkward, but welcome.
Hey, it's like talking to my best friend as always.
Oh, weird. Because we're friends in real life.
I know.
Okay, well, Leanne, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I would love for you to introduce yourself. I probably could tell a little bit about you, but I'd rather hear it from your mouth rather than mine.
Well, thank you so much for having me. My name is Leanne Geiss. I am one of the owners of Eclipse Catering here in Columbia, Missouri. And I kind of got my start in the private club and hospitality industry. During college, I worked at private country clubs, and that was kind of my dipping my toe into event planning and catering side of things, and really loved it so much, and spent most of the beginning part of my career working for other people. And a couple years ago, just kind of had this epiphany where I just wanted to build something for my family that really made a difference for us. And so I kind of took that passion of catering and event planning and working with people, and met my amazing business partner, Josiah Williams, who brings to the table amazing back-of-house experience and incredible cooking, which is why probably none of my pants fit now. And we kind of had the same vision of creating a company that really cared about its employees as much as it cares about its customers. And kind of from there, Eclipse was really born.
That's awesome. So kind of give me the history, because you came in to an existing business that was actually under different ownership, different name. You came on and kind of, I'll just say it how it is. You kind of revamped things a little bit and brought a little bit of professionalism and a female touch, if you will, to the mix. And since then, because I have known Joe since kind of the beginning, since then, you guys have really taken off, and you have your hands in so many things that people don't know as Eclipse Catering, but also we're here at the Atrium. So I just kind of tell me the history of Eclipse and how you guys got here.
Yeah, so when I first met Josiah, he was an owner of another catering company here in town and had other business partners. And I really was so excited by the talent he brought to the table, but saw that they were kind of stagnant in what they were doing. So I came on as the general manager of that company, sharing with the ownership right away that I wanted to eventually be an owner, and that I would put in that sweat equity to be a part of what they were doing. And kind of as I got to see the operations and the interactions with the other partners, we uncovered some major issues with that company. And when I brought it to Josiah's attention, him and I talked a really long time. He kind of was so hurt and frustrated by the way that company was going and was kind of ready to retire. He didn't want to kind of trudge through what it was going to take to revamp.
Yeah.
And I said, just give me a couple of months. Let me show you what I can do to help you, what I can bring to the table for you, and I can reorganize this, and I can really make something of this. And so we decided to start a new company together, and we kind of hemmed and hawed about names, and there were a couple of jokes out there. We talked about calling ourselves Bread and Butter for a while.
I actually really like that for a catering company. That's cute.
It's the one thing caterers always forget is the bread and butter, man. And so then my husband, one night, we were talking about it. He goes, you know what you need to call it is Eclipse. He said, this is kind of a special thing you guys are doing. It's a rebirth and a revamp. And we were like, yes. And that's kind of how Eclipse was born.
That's awesome. So you guys started as just catering, or what was Eclipse doing at that time?
We were doing private contract business, so the K through 12 schools, we had a couple of fraternity houses, and those kind of paid the bills, and we did some catering events here and there. But when I came on, they'd never done a large scale plated meal. And that's my happy spot. That's where I live. And so that's kind of where we got our start. And that was what was able to let us grow, was that kind of core contract business. And actually, little did we know, it ended up being so smart to be so diversified in what you're doing. Because when the contract business is slow, catering business is high. And so, yeah, that's kind of what we were doing in the beginning. And we just kind of blew up from there. We had Josiah and I joke all the time, we had a 5 and 10 year plan when we started. And we accomplished our 8-year plan in the first year.
Yeah, crazy.
Crazy.
So that first year, just from knowing the history and being friends with you guys for a while, that first year was like hyper speed.
Crazy.
Not only were you still doing the private contracts, getting into events, but then in that first year, you also took over the management of the atrium.
Yep, we did. And the atrium is such a big, there's no other, like a big thing. I mean, it is a world unto itself. The running, the size of it, the challenges you deal with a historic building, which was exciting, but it's a lot. And nobody ever kind of wants to get over their skis in business, because that's the kiss of death for everyone. But we looked at this and went, we know what to do. And Josiah and I are very much so hands-on managers. My favorite thing to do at events is to sit back and wash dishes. So we're never going to...
I can attest. I have walked into the kitchen multiple times. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you were here. And you're just like, yep, washing dishes.
Washing dishes.
I'm like, okay, no.
It makes no sense, but it is my happy place. I don't know why. Josiah is faster, but I gather more joy from it.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, we're such hands-on managers, and we knew we could take it on, and it was a lot, and it was a lot of sleepless nights and worrying and being here till 2 a.m. resetting rooms. But we learned a lot that first year, and we work smarter, not harder now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I remember the first time I met you, and it was at a wedding show, and I was like, oh, I like this girl a lot. And I'm pretty sure I came back again, and I was like, hey, let's have coffee. And that was really like the beginning of our friendship getting to this point now, and the small levels of involvement that we have in each other's life and business, and it's just been such like a good thing. So I'm really glad that you started with Josiah at that time and, all of that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the atrium, because I remember the day that it all happened. I was actually having a wedding here for clients of mine, and you guys were doing the catering, and everyone was here, and that was not normal. And I was like, wait, what? Leanne and Joe, like, why are you guys here? What's going on? And Joe pulls me aside and he's like, you need to have coffee with Leanne on Monday. And this was on Saturday. And I was like, okay, sure. And then you called me the next day and you were like, I couldn't tell you last night, but we're now managing the atrium. So, I mean, you kind of touched on it, like, but how did that all kind of come about? And what does that entail actually, like, soup to nuts?
So, yeah, taking over the atrium was, it wasn't a really smooth transition. It was tough. The old management company, how do I say this? Just made some different business decisions and decided to move their company off out of state. And so we were asked to come in. We had some personal relationships with the building owners, and we had a lot of conversations, talked about my history, talked about Josiah's history and kind of the vision for this place. And it was all very quiet, just to make the transition. And so nobody really knew about it until the morning of the locks being changed on the building, which was really stressful. But exciting for us, because I knew we could, the atrium is a great spot, but we can really take it to the next level. So the management of the atrium is a lot. It's one of the larger event venues in town. It has some weird quirks to it because it was an existing space. I mean, there's no storage, so we use our alley a lot. We use our vans a lot for storing things, and
whatever event space is not being used for that particular event becomes the storage. And
the behind the scenes is real interesting here.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. I mean, we were really excited. We came into not a lot of function when the space was designed. it's beautiful, but it wasn't designed with events in mind.
Right.
Somebody who knew what it would take to execute. And so we came in, we renovated both of the bars, which were the first thing that really kind of wasn't functional about the space, and just kind of finished a lot of the projects that had been started but not completed. Just down to, you don't think about it, but we are surrounded, right, by windows, and every one of those windows has to be washed regularly.
Right.
So it's the little things like that. You don't think about the high dusting, the washing the windows, but then down to how do you function in a kitchen that's really not a kitchen. It's just kind of
it's a catering kitchen.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
We always call it a finishing kitchen because you're really not doing anything but finishing and putting some garnish on something there. So, it's those little things, but then the group of people that you need to manage something like this, like I can't walk into this building and get it up and running by myself. It takes an army of amazing staff that support us here.
Right.
So, it's a lot, but it's a lot of fun. We've had some really great times here. We've had some sleepovers here.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that sets the atrium aside, or, sets the atrium apart from other venues is a lot of these venues, especially in mid-Missouri, it's just the owner and they're taking care of it, and that's okay. But you guys have events here multiple times in a week, and to be able to turn over a 400-person event is no easy task. Like you said, we're surrounded by windows. Your marquee changes with every single event. I mean, there's just so much that goes into it. But what I want to talk about is, let's talk about the actual history of this property. So I know, because I grew up in Columbia, I mean, at one time it was a funeral home. So it's held all of life's events from beginning to end.
Yeah, we joke now, we're like, we celebrate a different stage of life here now, which is really fun. And there's ongoing jokes that the building is haunted, and nobody likes to go in the basement after dark, and I attest to that.
Keep me out of that.
Yeah, don't go in the basement after dark. But yes, I mean, the building is really amazing. It has been everything from a dorm for the colleges to an apartment building to, it was also a car dealership at one time. So we have a big recessed area down in our lower atrium that used to be the large window for when it was a car dealership.
Like a showroom.
Exactly.
Wow.
And we actually just got the property listed on the notable historic properties in Boone County. And so we got to look through the history, which was so cool. I'm all about that. And so is Josiah. We like to traditions and history and bring all of that back together. So anything that we do for the building, we try to bring it back to the beginning. And how cool is it that this building is still in use, still being used for celebrations, and still is catering to MU, Columbia College, Stevens, and we've also done some celebrations of life here. It's really
baby
neat.
showers. I've done 2 baby showers here. Weddings. I mean, all sorts of things.
Yeah, we've done sports signings. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It's so much fun. And going back to what you were saying earlier, I didn't want to miss the opportunity to say, when you do have a 300-person wedding, and we start with a ceremony and we're flipping to the reception, people don't think about everything that goes into that. But that's also why we work with amazing planners such as yourself, because while we're moving the room, we're setting out chairs, we're sweeping up rose petals, you're taking the bride and groom through the rest of the day. And so it is such a synergy of people working together that makes this place work.
Yeah. One of the main conversations that I've been having with venues is what happens when there is no planner? And you do have a room flip, and you guys are then handling, not only moving all the tables and chairs, but then you're putting the centerpieces on, or someone's mom is doing it.
And that's, it does go back to the difference between people who have been in the industry and have worked in the industry a lot, and people who enjoy events and enjoy making centerpieces and enjoy everything that goes into an event, which is amazing and wonderful. But you have to admit, probably 65% of what we do is not fun. It's not exciting.
No. My tagline is, it's not all cake and champagne.
Oh, 100%. 100%, because there inevitably is, the flower girl that won't walk down the aisle, or the leaky window, or, something that's always happening, a chair that breaks, or a linen that didn't come in from another vendor, and you're having to make those pivots, or, not thinking, oh, I need trash cans in every part of the room. Those are the things we think about as venue professionals that not everybody does. And so it is so important. And we love to have those people who want to help. But especially with weddings, people don't think about the day of. You want to be dancing. You want to be enjoying the moments. You don't want to miss anything. You don't want to be in this room with me rolling tables and unstacking and stacking chairs. You want to be out there with your guests and your family. And that's really where we come in.
Yeah. And it's not fair. A lot of people just like schlep it off to their mom or dad or like their aunt. And it's just really not fair to your family.
Oh, 100%. Not to mention, let's face it, 9 times out of 10, they either forget because it is high energy, it's high emotions, and everybody has
excited, and
everyone has the best intentions, but when someone forgets the centerpieces, we're the ones figuring it out.
Yeah.
So let us just do it from the beginning and be smooth, right?
Yes, absolutely. So kind of tell me, you guys host every kind of event here, but how many does the venue hold? And so you have fire code.
Yes.
And then we have what's ideal.
Right. Fire code, it says that you can host far more than what's really comfortable in a space.
Right.
And again, people who aren't thinking about, okay, I have a plated dinner, I need to be able to have people walking around with massive trays full of food. So I can't sardine pack this room. So we say we can do 350 in this room. If you're wanting a stage, 300 is going to be your sweet spot there.
Nice. Yeah.
Yep. And then that allows us space to move around. It gives us kind of an aisleway, and it's much more comfortable. Can we do more than that? Yes, but you're really not going to be happy.
Right.
We can do probably about 500 cocktail style here. Again, that's comfortable. You're not thinking about your food stations, your drink stations. That fits all of that comfortably as well.
Yeah.
And what's really cool about us, we have an amazing catering manager that works both on our offsite events, and we have one that works here at the atrium. And really works through all of that with you. She'll sit down, she'll do a floor plan with you, talk about your vision, talk about the things that you need that you haven't thought about. Do you need a memory table? Do you need a presentation table? Do you need a podium? All the things that go into it.
Yeah. Well, and that is very different from other venues too, because not everyone has AV. Like you guys have a screen and a projector. You have a podium. Like you don't have to rent every single thing. When you come here, you guys take care of the linens and napkins, and you have china on site, and there's just so many different perks. One of the other perks that I really want to talk about, and you talked about how you renovated the bars, and they are so absolutely gorgeous.
Thank
but
you.
You guys handle your bars in-house.
Yes.
Again, that's not normal in mid-Missouri. A lot of bars, or a lot of venues, are BYOB, and then you're asking your uncles to be your bartenders. But you don't do that here at the atrium.
Correct. Yep. We handle all of the alcohol that comes in and out of this building for a number of different reasons. The last thing that we ever want is for anybody to be in an unsafe situation. We are very, very careful with who we serve. We really adhere to guidelines for the state and the city and the county as far as not over-serving. We don't offer shots here, which rubs some people the wrong way, but it is truly for the safety and well-being and honestly the health of your event.
Right.
Nothing's worse than when your college friends get drunk at your wedding and you don't want somebody throwing up in the corner.
Yep.
So all of those things go into just giving you a better experience here.
And well, if that's okay if that's your vibe. Like, you can love taking shots.
Absolutely.
But we're in the heart of downtown. Walk down the street to Nash Vegas and take a shot.
Absolutely. Hey, there's places for that. There's party buses when people go out and take pictures. You do your thing. I'm going to take care of you when you come back here.
Yeah. So location, you guys are in the smack dab middle of the district, the fancy name of downtown Columbia. And what I always tell our clients is like, okay, I think there are a ton of beautiful photo spots inside of the atrium, which again, not normal for a venue in mid-Missouri. But some of my favorite bridal party photos have been down in the lower atrium in front of the windows. They're so pretty. But you're also just down the street from the courthouse, which has some green space, the columns, it's very pretty. But a lot of our clients choose to get a van or a bus, and they'll go down to Mizzou campus, which is 10 blocks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's walkable, but yeah, the bus is so convenient and
not in a dress and heels. Not walkable.
Hey, I've seen it. I've seen some cute pictures, people going on those crosswalks. They're all staged. They're getting off a bus and getting back on the bus.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, super close. What I love about the atrium too is it's such a blank slate for what you want. I know everybody's really been into the barns and the shabby chic thing, and those are great. But what's cool about the atrium is it can go and cater to any multiple different types of vibes. So we can do shabby chic here. We can do really high-end modern. We've got the great exposed brick. We've got the great windows like you talked about. We've got a lot of iron here, which is super cool. We just finished our selfie wall, which is really fun. I've seen some really cool pictures in front of that. So we really tried to make it one-stop shopping here. And then we added the addition of our apartment upstairs, which can be rented as well to get ready, to stay overnight. And that's got some really cool opportunities with the balcony out there as well.
Yeah, so many great photo opportunities for sure, at least for weddings. So like we had talked about, you have every kind of event here. You're able to serve all of those events, but what has been one of your favorites?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard. There's so many.
And was it a delight wedding? No, I'm just kidding.
Some of the delight weddings are definitely my favorite because they're way lower maintenance and they don't up the ante there. When you're working with your best friend, it's super fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Anytime. But I think some of my favorite events, we've done some really amazing nonprofit galas here, which just always kind of pull at your heartstrings. And those are wonderful, just good memories of feeling like it can get monotonous, pushing out 400 plates of food, and I'm not curing cancer here. I'm not doing anything really special and incredible here, changing people's lives. I'd like to think I give them good memories, but it can be hard. Not feeling like I'm making a difference, but when we do these nonprofit events, whether that's Ronald McDonald House or the GP fundraiser or First Responders Gala, that's our opportunity to give people an amazing event, an amazing experience, and help them give to whatever cause it is. And I think those have actually been some of my most favorite events because when it's a big event, Joe and I are both here and we're both pushing out food and bussing tables and hanging out with our friends who also work with us. And those, I think, are definitely the good memories because 9 times out of 10, Joe's bringing his daughter, I'm bringing my older daughter, and they're back there drying dishes or polishing silverware. And that's what truly brings us back to why we did this. And that's our families and creating something really special.
And you guys are extremely charitable. I know that just from being your friend, but you're extremely charitable, especially for things that are for children. And that probably is because of the love that you guys have for your families and you're both parents and all of that. But I love seeing your guys' kids here for those events. Like Bridget's always like pushing out chairs and like wiping them down, and she's awesome.
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny how our daughters kind of mimic us. Joe's daughter is usually in the kitchen and wanting to put together fruit cups or something like that. And my daughter's out here arranging napkins, and that's very much so us. And it is a lot of fun. And, we always talk about what the future holds for Eclipse and how fun would it be if our girls take this over for us and, take Eclipse to the next stage in the future. I mean, hey, maybe that won't happen, but we love the idea of it.
Yeah. I keep thinking maybe Augie will take over Delight, but TBD.
You never know. He's got an amazing personality. I think maybe he could do it.
He could do sales or something exciting. Okay, so we've talked about the history. We've talked about how far Eclipse has come, what's happened here at the atrium. Like, tell me a little bit about the future. What is that going to look like for the atrium, for Eclipse? Like, what do you guys have your hands into?
Oh my gosh. So we have so many fun plans for the atrium and store. We took it over knowing that we were going to have to phase in what we want to do, just obviously in between events, but also financially. You want to make sure you're making smart decisions because at the end of the day, this isn't my building.
Right.
And so we have a lot of really fun plans for the future. Can't share all of them for the atrium, but the next project I can share with you is the room that we call the parlor. It's kind of, let's face it, it's our storage area right now. But it has the potential to be so much more. So that's really going to be the next focus and kind of iteration for the atrium.
Yeah. And I've been begging for this for probably 2 years because I've done a styled shoot in that room. And then that styled shoot turned into a client who wanted essentially the same thing. And it was just like a small 50-person wedding in that room. And I have been saying, oh my gosh, this is a sellable room. It's not just like a check-in for nonprofit events. It's not like you can hold small events in there, but it needs a little zhuzh.
It does. And
so what are you going to do? I have to know.
Well, we've got some concept boards, and I think what it's going to be, the vibe in there is kind of like moody cigar lounge, a lot of leather, warm colors, but also to make it really usable for the nonprofit check-in, the co-checks, but also great dinners. We have visions of doing wine dinners, bourbon nights, different things like that, curated special events in that space, because there's really nothing like it in Columbia.
Yeah.
A lot of restaurants have breakout rooms, which is amazing, but this one's just a little different. And
I will tell you that is the number one question I get from people is where can I do a rehearsal dinner? Where can I do a baby shower? Where can I do a bridal shower? Like, what's a 50-person venue? And there's just not a whole lot of options in Columbia.
There isn't, and that's what makes, again, the atrium kind of so special, is it has all these neat little nooks and crannies and things we can do. I mean, we've done baby showers up in the apartment, which I never thought of until a customer was like, I just don't want people traipsing through my house, but I want to feel like I'm at home. I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah.
So it's really been neat that we can add all these different things in, and that space has kind of gone unused and unloved for a little while, and I'm excited to get started on it.
Yeah.
So kind of that's the future for the atrium right now. There is, again, several other iterations, but that's the next the next project.
I don't know if everyone really knows last year everything that you did here. You finished the bars. You did the selfie wall.
Yep.
You expanded your offices.
Yeah.
You added the bridal suite. Like, you've been slowly doing all of these things and making it more functional for your staff. I mean, that was a huge undertaking. And so I think one project for the atrium this year is you're probably good.
Yeah. You know, we jumped all in. And we assured the aughts and that we would take care of this space and love it like our own, and we really have. And so we definitely have more plans for the future, but this year there's going to be a lot of growth in Eclipse and just a couple projects at the atrium.
So let's switch hats. We've been talking about the atrium. Let's go back to Eclipse. So you guys are currently not only here at the atrium, but you also still have a couple of Greek houses. You're in schools.
Yep.
Your food's in the Grind coffee houses.
Yes.
And then where else? I can't even keep track of all the places.
Yeah, you know, it's been a really exciting year of growth in what we're going to do. And, you know, it was tough to, at the beginning of the school year, we had to let some of our houses go that we've had for a while. But at some point you have to look at what you're doing and go, what's going to really fit and grow our business and make it really healthy. And so we had to make some tough choices at the beginning of the year. And, but yes, we still have our Greek houses. We are in our schools. The Grind has been an amazing partnership. Aki is so cool. He is such, a champion for local businesses and really wanting us to synergize. I mean, what other business in town opens their doors and says, please come in here, bring what you do. And oh, by the way, don't forget to bring signs and tell everybody that you're doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times has he put out on social media? And nobody has to do that.
Right.
So that's been such an amazing partnership.
He could easily pass it off as the Grind's food,
Absolutely.
grab-and-go sandwiches, and yeah.
Exactly. But how cool is that? So we love that. And we're looking at expanding that more into other areas here in town. We also manage the Dogwood Cafe over at the School of Vet Med. That's been a really fun undertaking.
That's
just
awesome.
kind of doing grab and go and watching the students come through and being involved in their activities has been really fun. So we work over there as well. And then we, of course, do a ton of offsite events, which has been a lot of fun. We work at different venues, which, again, is a little different, but we love working in different venues and working with different business owners here in Columbia. We do a lot of in-home caterings, just a lot of offsite events. And then we've also created a couple of new concepts this year that are born from Eclipse and from Josiah's brainchild of food. And one thing that he's really known for, and it's so funny because it's the one thing that he hates being known for, is his fried chicken. And everybody's, you can't see it behind the scenes here, everybody's nodding because his fried
so
chicken
good.
is amazing.
It's so good.
And he does a fried chicken sandwich that is amazing. And so we kind of came up with Bite, our grab and go concept that has Josiah's fried chicken and some amazing other options, Phillies and other sandwiches, salads that can grab and go. And then we said, we're not done. We're not busy enough. We need to add something else. And we partnered up with another local chef and created After Bite that takes everybody through the 8 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. mark. Which, everybody goes, oh, you're just selling to a lot of drunk college kids. No. We're catering to that third shift worker that a lot of people forget about. People getting off the hospitals and getting out of the factories. And we love seeing them.
Yeah. And the cool thing about those two concepts is you guys are actually operating it out of your prep kitchen, but it has a walk-up window. So you can order it and go pick it up, or it can get delivered, right?
Yep. We partner with DoorDash, Uber Eats, all the things. And what's been so cool about it is it's just kind of another option out there for Columbia. And it's funny because a lot of our catering clients will go, oh, wait a minute, can I have that sandwich from Bite? Because I really love that. Can I have that at my office? Yes.
Yeah.
Just having a lot of different options has been really cool.
And you guys are also, I know, it's like, sometimes when we talk, I'm like, oh yeah, and this. And then you're like, oh yeah, kind of forgot about that. I mean, you guys are also managing another venue.
Yes. We are managing Elk Park Event Center. And that's been really cool that we've just been doing that for a couple of months now. And we are looking at making changes and improvements there as well. Hopefully they're going to let us. Brought some cool ideas over there. And so we've really expanded the event offerings there and allow other caterers there as well, just like we do here at the Atrium. We know we're not the best at everything. We have some amazing other caterers in Columbia that we love working with because we get ideas too, and hopefully they get ideas from us. And so we work with them here at the Atrium and offsite at Elk Park as well.
That's awesome. So what else?
You're forgetting other things, aren't you? You're
No.
like, what else are you doing?
No, I'm trying to goad you into things that I know, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say them.
It's so funny to me because one thing that I didn't expect when Josiah and I decided to do this, we were all about the work and about our staff. I didn't expect to have to talk so much about what we do. And that is something I'm still really getting used to. You talk about our charitable donations. We really don't talk to people about that. And I don't know why. It's great and we do it, but I just have never been super comfortable talking about myself and what I do.
Yeah.
So I think that's also why I hesitate to be like, and then we're doing this, and then we're doing this, and oh yeah, we do this too, and I got to get better about it.
Yeah.
So other exciting things on the horizon that I can't tell you all the details about yet, but we are in the process of acquiring another event venue.
Whoop.
Super exciting, another historic property. And so that'll happen this year as well. And we are also opening another grab and go concept.
Oh, I don't know about this one.
I know. I actually haven't told you about this one yet.
I'm feeling very left out.
I know. We need coffee now. I mean, obviously. Where's the coffee?
I know.
So I can't, again, tell all the details on that, but it will be, again, a lot of grab and go because we're finding the location, which is kind of east of Columbia, is kind of a little bit of a desert there of the offerings and walking distance. And so we're kind of bringing back an old school Columbia favorite.
Oh, no, I do know about
with
this.
a
Why
twist.
am I acting stupid? I do know about this.
It's just because I didn't say the name that
yeah,
you're not
exactly.
thinking of.
I was like, wait, you have a secret? I felt so hurt.
So that, and actually, hopefully in the next 30 days is going to be coming up. And I'm hoping by the end of next week, we can tease that one a little bit more and I'll be able to share some names. But we're doing another collaboration there with a couple of really other amazing people in Columbia and kind of bringing back a local favorite that'll have grab and go meals, a little bit of a convenience store feel, but we'll always have that little piece of Eclipse in it. So we're excited about that.
Gonna be good. I am very excited for both of those things. And some of the events and things that we've talked about at both of those properties, I think are going to be really cool.
So cool. And honestly, this iteration is really, everything has the community in mind, but this one is more in the community than it's ever been. And we're really excited about it.
I think the common thread of this conversation, and something I always remind you of, I feel like, is you guys have your hand in so many different things and people just don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of almost a little bit of a frustration, but it's also my fault because I don't talk about it enough, is everything that we're involved in. And I think we're forgotten a lot. Everybody has the Columbia staples they go to, which is amazing. I was born and raised here. I'm a patron as well. But we forget a lot about the new and up-and-coming people. And that's, I think, also why we're so passionate about collaborating, too, because I think those are voices that aren't always heard. And if we can kind of all get together and push each other forward, it's going to help everybody in the end. But I'm hoping, after the growth we've had the last 2 years, I'm hoping this is the year of awareness for us. We're going to talk about ourselves more. We're going to talk about the nonprofits we work with and the donations that we do. And that's really a goal this year, in addition to everything else that we've got going, is just kind of tooting our horn a little bit. Which makes me a little uncomfortable. But like I said, nobody's going to know if we don't talk about it, which is why I'm talking to you today, because I would never have done this a year ago. We're going to talk about all the things. Oh, yeah, you don't know. I'm like freaking out over here a little bit.
But with all of that and with all the growth, it takes, like you've said multiple times in this conversation, it takes a huge team. And what I don't think that people know is that you have over 70 employees.
Yeah, actually, we just hit 91.
Yeah, it's
this
crazy.
last week.
I think it was in the 70s in the fall, so you just had like a massive growth.
Well, yeah, with all these concepts comes the support people that we need with it. And back to what we were talking about from the very beginning, I mean, that's not just here at this venue. I mean, we have large staffs at every other location that we're at, whether it's a
full-time staff.
Full-time staff,
Not just event staff.
Whether it's a Greek house or one of the schools or at Bite. We have a very large staff, and again, it goes back to what Josiah and I wanted to do. We were a family with Eclipse, and I think that's the common thread that you see in everything we do. We always say you're not joining the Eclipse team, you're joining the Eclipse family. And that means that we look out for each other, we take care of each other. We've had a staff member who, when they started with us, was homeless and just bought her first car, in addition to having her own apartment, and is now loaning money to other staff so that they can get where they need to go. We, this last year, had 2 of our team buy their first houses. Some of them young, under 30, which, let's face it, right now in this economy,
it's hard.
It's really hard.
In Columbia. Especially.
And to watch those life events with them has been incredible. And Josiah and I are as invested in them as we are in our close-knit family. And so that's been really special. But, it's funny. I was talking to somebody the other day about being a small business, and it was one of my banker friends. And he looked at me and he goes, you're not a small business anymore. And I went, you're right. That's weird to say, but you're right. But also, we still kind of are, because we are so segmented. And so I don't want to lose that small business feel, but I don't think people realize how big we are.
I think one of the cool things that you guys do too for your employees is you always encourage them to bring ideas to the table.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I mean, other things that people don't know about is you also have someone who works for Eclipse that's running a whole cleaning company. And you have a desserts and bakery kind of company. And, you know, I mean, you just have all of these different things that you're doing under the umbrella of Eclipse, but it's your employees who have come to you with these ideas and said, hey, this is a logical next step for Eclipse. Do you want to invest in it? And you guys, 9 times out of 10, I know for a fact, you're like, yeah, let's try it.
Let's do it. Let's see what sticks and what works. And, you know, you learn a lot doing it that way. Yeah, you're right. I mean, we've got a cleaning company. We do have, we also have our glamping gals, which is, you know, kind of luxury sleepovers for little girls. And we're constantly looking for that next growth step. It's funny, we even talked about, I want to ask you your opinion about this.
Sure.
We've even talked about changing up how we're doing our desserts. We've kind of done the same thing for a while, and we thought about offering a contest here in Columbia.
Let's do it.
And putting out there, we want to change this up. We're looking for somebody who can bring us amazing baked items, and we will invest in your business, and we will move forward together. And we thought about this contest and how fun it would be, and getting that opportunity to invest with someone else, but also bring something amazing and new to Eclipse. So it's something we've been thinking about a little bit, and maybe you can help me get off the ground. We'll see.
Heck yeah. That sounds awesome. I'm very good at giving opinions, and I'm
you
also
kinda
very
are.
good at tasting dessert. I will come for that.
Right? I'm telling you, it's my favorite. Desserts just get me every time.
Okay, Leanne, last question.
my
If
gosh.
you were not an owner of Eclipse, what would you be doing?
Oh my
Think about it.
gosh.
My current answer to this is I want to be a farmer, but I only want to take care of the animals. And then I added to it because my best friend lives on a farm and her husband's a real actual farmer. And she was like, okay, are you going to go get all the eggs from the chicken coop when it's negative 10 degrees? And I was like, no, I have boundaries. So now I'm only going to be farmer for animals above 60 degrees and below 90 degrees.
Oh, so I can be really specific about this.
Yeah, this is your world. We're just living in it.
Because side note, I totally have always wanted chickens.
Me too.
But I didn't think about the animals and the feed. I didn't even think about getting eggs when it's that cold. So
Yeah.
I have to, okay.
I know.
It's a lot of commitment there. You know what and you'd never know this by looking at me now, but I used to be a ballet dancer.
Ooh.
And I studied the majority of my childhood into my teens and a little bit in college, and spent a summer abroad at the Royal Ballet in London.
Cool.
Which was incredible. But unfortunately, I got too tall, and you know, the puberty hits everybody a little different and wasn't kind to me. So I think if I could do anything else, I would go back and do that. I miss dancing so much, and I miss what it brought to me, and the peace, and honestly, it sounds weird, but comfort of it, and knowing yourself. And I think that's probably what I would be doing. In my magical world where I'm still in shape and I can still do all those things. Yeah.
I love this question for so many reasons. Number one, I learned things about people that I did not know before, had no clue that you were a ballerina. Number two, it also makes sense because being a ballerina is like extreme discipline and like stress management, I feel like. And you were really good at both of those things, which is why you're probably now like a boss.
Yeah. Well, and you have to handle a lot of notes. And those notes sometimes are kind, but more often than not, were really hard to hear. And I think that really helped me be who I am because let's face it, this is a cutthroat industry. There's a lot of people out there who aren't very nice. There's a lot of people that told us when Josiah and I decided to do this, who said we'd never last a year. And told us that regularly. And we're like, okay. Got you.
Yeah.
We send them anniversary cards of our company too, just in case you were wondering. So it really did help hearing those hard things, but also learning from them because those are hard. I mean, self introspection is difficult, and looking at who you are and who you want to be and how other people see you. because we know this. You think that you're being really kind and you're putting your best foot forward, and then people look and talk about you behind your back, and they're like, oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
And you're like,
wait, what?
But wait a minute, I'm a good person. I do all the things, and I take care of my people, and I take care of my family, and I try to do all the right things. But there's still cruelty out there, and people who are rooting for you to fail. So I think that really helped me handle that. Does it still hurt? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does.
But not as bad as you hurting on your point toe
No,
thingies.
don't ever ask me to take off my shoes, because I do have dancer feet, and
Not cute.
that's not good.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. I adore you. You guys are doing such an amazing job. It's been so fun to be a small part of it, and I'm excited for everything that you guys have up your sleeves in the future.
Gosh, thank you. Well, and like I said earlier, we couldn't do it without amazing partners. And I'm so excited that chance meeting happened all those years ago at of all things, a wedding show, which just make your eyes
Which
glaze
we don't
over.
do.
No.
We both don't do that.
No.
But we did that one.
Yeah, we closed that chapter. And I think it was just because we were supposed to meet. And it has been such a fun partnership. And I'm hoping we get to collaborate more on things in the future.
Yay. We're not going to talk about that.
No, of course not.
Well, thank you for being here.